Hello, and this is Big Bang Bot, and today I'll be reviewing Tigger's Honey Hunt for the Sony PlayStation. Now, this game also came out on the N64 and PC, but I'm playing the PS1 version. This game was developed by Disney Interactive and Doki Denki Studio, and it was published by New Kid Co. in North America and Ubisoft in Europe. This game has received positive reviews, but what do I think of it? Well, we are about to find out. Hello there, and my name is Big Bang Bot. Goodbye. Now, the game has a very, and I mean a very, very simple story. I'll just let the game explain it for you first. Because I'm lazy.
I'm Tigger. That's T-I-double-G-E-R, and that's me. Yes, Tigger. You've bounced me before. Yeah, fun, ain't it? Say, you wanna go bouncing with me? Well, I'd like to go bouncing with you, but today I need to collect lots and lots of honey pots for my party. A party, you say? Yes, for all of my friends, but I should need a lot more honey. Tigger, would you help me find some honey pots? You bet, buddy old bear. Yuck. What do these Pooh Bears think about this sticky stuff anyway? Oh, you old chump. No time for goofing off. I've got honey pots to collect. GGFN, ta-da for now.
So basically, the story is that Pooh needs more. Pooh is having a party and he needs more honey pots for his party, so he sends Tigger off to find them. The story is very basic, and there's not much to comment on it. It's just meh. Now, this game has simple gameplay as well. Basically, this game is a platform. I've always wanted to use a Categories joke in my videos. Sorry for ripping you off, but you're so awesome. Basically, your goal is to get from point A to point B, but there's an important part about that. You see the top screen? Yep, there are honey pots, and there's out with a number on it. That's how many honey pots you need to beat the level. If you have enough, you can go to the next level.
Let's see how
as Al will explain.
collected thus far on this level. I say, Tigger, good show. You have collected enough honey pots to help Pooh with his party. Let's go to the next level.
Just to let you know, those silent lines are so memorable, and if you don't collect enough honey pots, you can't move on to the next level, and you have to replay the level you played.
Let's see how many honey pots you've collected thus far on this level. Oh, my dear boy, you must collect more honey pots. Return to the forest and see if you can find some more.
Oh, come on! I only had one left! And here's proof I only had one left. See? I only had one left! There's 100 honey pots in each level. If you collect all 100 of them, you gain access to the rabbit cards. I might as well explain these cards. The Roo cards are just scattered along the level the first time you play it. You can just find them and they're always there. For the rabbit cards, after you collect all 100 honey pots in a level, which you can't get straight away, and I'll explain that later, you can revisit the level and find the cards. And for the Pooh cards, and then they have nothing to do with actual Pooh, they have to do with Winnie the Pooh. And I'll explain these in a bit more detail now.
I need to find
you will meet now in every level you will meet a character from the Winnie the Pooh franchise. You need to find an item for them. So you got to go search for the item. Now sometimes it can be as easy as walking like 2 or 3 meters and finding it, just like in the first level. But in the second level, you have to go all the way from point A to point B to get Eeyore's tail. It is so annoying. This is the only level which makes you go from the beginning of the level to the end of the level to get the item. Which means you have to go from point A to point B to point A to point B in order to finish the challenge. It is so annoying! There's his tail, so let's grab it and go all the way back to Eeyore to get our beautiful prize. And want to know what the prize is?
Thank you, Tigger.
Well, look at that new icon that's there. Look at it. You unlock a time trial where you have to beat the developer's time, and if you do, you can find the Pooh cards in their levels. There's a problem that I have with these cards, but I'll get to that later. This game has very simple controls. Basically, here's what you do. You move with either the analog stick or the D-pad. You jump with the X button. And while you're in the air, mash the X button to float for some time, but you don't get that ability till later. You hold square to duck, which is completely useless except in one part, but I'll get to that later. You can press the triangle button to bring up your inventory or your stats, whatever, and you can use circle to use the ultimate jump of ultimateness. Basically, you hold circle to begin it, and then you can turn left or right. You can only do it in 3 directions, but it's still an ultimate jump of ultimateness, and you don't get that till later on in the game either. You can weaken it by pressing down, but why the beep would anyone want to do that? It's never needed. All you need is a super high, awesome jump, not the not so high, not so awesome jump. Those are the controls. Very simple. The controls are really good. They're very responsive and they always work. Now let's get on to the graphics. The graphics are actually pretty good. The characters look like they should, and every level looks different from the last. Now in the game there are 6 main levels and 3 bosses. Now why do I say that they're bosses? Well, that's because they're just beeping mini games. I mean, seriously, with Rabbit, you play Simon Says, or Rabbit Says as it's called in the... With Pooh, you play Pooh Stick. That's right, Pooh Stick is actually in this game. And with Owl, you play Rock, Paper, Scissors, which, unlike the real game, requires almost no skill. Okay, I failed there. Here's why. Because you can practically see what your opponent's doing, unlike in real life. It gives you a bunch of time to choose what to do. And since you know what your opponent's going to do, it requires almost no skill, and the opponent will repeat the same thing. So you can just keep the same item and destroy your opponent. Okay, I absolutely failed there. But he keeps tricking me, that's why. But usually I can win easily. Rabbit Says is also easy because basically it shows you what to do on the screen. Then it shows you the next thing, but instead of making the previous things disappear, they make them stay. Which makes the game even easier than it's meant to be, and it's barely a memory game, and the AI just seem to suck at it because they don't have a brain. For whatever reason. Just look at them suck. But I won! Well done. But there is a positive for playing these boring mini-games, because you see, they are the bosses, and when you win the special bounces, which is actually pretty cool. Now let's talk about the music. The music's actually pretty good with some good tunes like the map theme and the first level, which is literally called "And So the Adventure Begins," but my favourite tune has to be the title screen music. Just listen. Time to go on to the sound effect. The sound effects are actually pretty good. The bouncing sounds really nice, and collecting honey pots is also quite a good sound. The game does have some good sound effects, but the sound effect when you hit enemies is weird. Just listen. Come back here! Come back here! Whoops. Yeah, that's the sound effect. I'd like to mention that there aren't that many enemies in this game, and a lot more obstacles which you can't kill. But just like Wii Sports, I'm addicted to the menu sound effect. Dreadful sound. No, I did not beat the game 100% 4 times, so do not ask me that question, okay? Now on to the voice acting. The voice acting is actually quite good. It comes from the original cast, but there's one character who doesn't sound correct. Piglet. I mean, listen to his voice in the game.
Oh, dear, I lost my broom, and the leaves won't leave me alone. Would you help me find it, please?
Now, maybe it just sounds weird to me because I haven't seen anything Winnie the Pooh related for ages, but tell me if that was his original voice actor, because I'm sure that it was different. But other than Piglet, everyone else sounds the same. Yeah. Now let's move on to the negative parts about this game, and there are a few. First off, like I mentioned before, the minigames suck. There's only 3 of them, and like I explained, they're so easy and boring. The cards. Now let me fully explain why this system sucks. Now here's the thing. If you miss one card, and I mean just one in a level, you have to collect all of them again. Which really sucks. And the reward for getting all the cards is not good at all. All the cards do is that they give you pictures for your photo album. Which, let me tell you, there aren't that many of them. I mean, there's 4 of each card in each level. Yeah, if you collect all of them in a level, you only get 1 picture for each type of card. That is just so lame, and they don't even affect the ending. which makes collecting the cards entirely pointless! Yay! One big problem I have with this game is that in order to collect everything in the level and beat it 100% is that you have to beat it 4 beeping times at minimum. The first playthrough, you go through the level and collect all the root cards on the way. The second one is to beat the time challenge, and I lost, sadly, but it was my own time, so that doesn't matter. The third time to collect all 100 honey pots and collect the poo cards along the way. And the fourth time to collect all the rabbit cards. Luckily, in the last 2 levels, since you have your super awesome bouncy jumper death thingy, you can collect all 100 honey pots on your first playthrough, and once you've done your time trial, you can collect both the poo and the rabbit cards. And if you mess up in any of these, you have to play the level even more times, which gets even more annoying. Anyway, let's get to a different flaw. An annoying flaw is that the game is too beeping short. I mean, there are only 6 levels of 3 boss battles, which means you can beat, and I beat the game in like 90 minutes, any percent. 100% I did not beat in one day because I didn't have enough time, but you can still easily beat the game 100% in under a day, which is just pathetic. It takes 90 minutes to beat any percent if you're not speedrunning and you're not really good, and it takes like around 5 or 6 hours 100%. Maybe it's between 4 or 5. I took around 5, but that's just an estimate. One last flaw is that the ending isn't worth it. It doesn't change if you collect all the cards, and I'm not going to spoil anything by showing you the ending, but what I can say is basically what happens is that Pooh eats all the honey pots and it doesn't even show you, and they end up eating different foods at the party. The ending is so lame, and it's just dumb. But anyway, now let's get on to the positive parts about this game. Now, I've said that the graphics are good and the music is good, especially this menu theme. That, and another good thing about the game is that it's kind of fun. Wow, that's actually kind of rare for a licensed game. It's kind of fun. Now, it's not really fun that you should, it's not a really fun game that you should definitely play, but it's certainly not boring. That's kind of strange. It wasn't boring. Because you'd expect a Winnie the Pooh game to suck and be boring. Well, the mini games were boring, but the main game wasn't boring. That and the same slots to represent the 4 seasons of the year, which is actually pretty cool, even though yes, that is spring, by the way. Looks a lot autumn than spring, and yes, that is autumn. I mean, why does spring look more like autumn than spring? That's just weird. Although you can't delete any of these files unless you delete your save off your memory card, which does kind of suck. Oh, and by the way, that is winter. There should be snow, but whatever, it's dark in winter. And in winter it does get dark fast, so it makes sense. Now it's time for the overall Tigger's Honey Hunt is actually quite fun. Now, it's not amazing, but it's certainly not bad. It's an above average game. The graphics look good, and it looks like Winnie the Pooh. The music is really good at places, especially that menu theme. But the game does have some problems, like the lousy ending, having to repeat every level except the last 2 levels 4 times. Well, you will repeat the last 2 levels 4 times because they're quite hard, especially beating that time challenge. And, well, other negatives I mentioned, like, you know, where the collecting the cards being useless, other than to collect 100% and fill up your album and not giving you a better ending, and the lame, boring, and easy mini games. But the game has some positive points. The game is kind of fun in the main game. The way the save system, the save slots actually look quite cool and interesting. And, well, yeah, that's it. Overall, this is a good game. You should pick it up. I give it a C+. I recommend it, and you should pick it up if you haven't played it already. Now, one thing I like to mention is the N64 version does not have cutscenes from the actual Winnie the Pooh cartoons, unlike the PS1 version and the PC version. And the N64 omits it removes all the voice acting, which is weird because the N64 can handle voice acting. So anyway, thanks for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. And remember, if you've got suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Anyway, this is Big Bad Bot signing out, and you should check out this game if you haven't already. It's actually kind of fun, and it's good. You should pick it up. Now, I would, and I mean it, I would make my own interesting experiences with this game, but I don't want to rip off Cat Icarus, and I want to leave it, for his review on the game, if he ever is going to make one, which he should! Anyway, bye-bye guys, goodbye!